Some of you are saving every month, investing in your 401k and tucking money into multiple accounts, but you still feel uneasy about your finances. You've built the strong habits, but you don't really have a clear system. That nagging anxiety that you're consistently feeling is not because you're doing it wrong. It's not because you're failing at money. It's because your money is working hard, but it's still going in different directions. Let's talk about it. Hey goalies, welcome back to the channel where we keep it real about all things money, confidence, and financial success. If this is your first time here, my name is Nia. I'm the Coins Confidant, and I'm all about helping you build the confidence and clarity to crush your money goals. Now, the first thing I do need you to do for me, please and thank you, hit the like and subscribe button. Let YouTube know that you are interested in what I am talking about. Please. Now, as you watch these videos, as you have thoughts, comments, questions, any of those things, please feel free to drop them down below in the comments and share. You might give me a new video idea. I might make a video answering one of your questions. Always feel confident to share. Now, today's video is especially for my high achieving, money vigilant people. Okay. And so let me explain to you what that is. That is someone who they earn good money and they're extremely careful with that money. They're not reckless at all. In fact, they might be saving or investing too much. Okay. But I know because you're like, well, how do you do that? How do you save and invest too much? We're going to talk about it. So the problem is they are driven by caution and not confidence. So you got cash in your savings, your contributions are going into multiple investment accounts, and you have a natural desire to do what you're supposed to do. But when you really look at it, you really have no idea about your financial ecosystem or how it's actually working. You're doing a lot. You're doing a lot, but none of the things that you are doing are connected to each other. And that's why this anxiety still is sitting in your chest, even with you having 5 figures saved. Hear me out. So let's start with a truth bomb, first of all. Saving money does not automatically mean that you have a plan. Investing regularly doesn't automatically mean that you'll feel financially confident. This video is here for this reason, because at the end of the day, we all have experienced things where we didn't feel like we were doing something the right way, or we feel like we're doing all the things, but we still don't feel like we're financially at peace. Okay. You're saving and you're investing, but the problem is that you lack strategy. The things that you are doing are not connected at all. So one of the first things that I really need you to do that's going to be very important is acknowledge what you've done right. So this is not, I never make a video to bash anybody or, whether what you're doing what you're supposed to or not doing what you're supposed to, whatever the case may be. But you always have to stop and acknowledge the good. You always have to stop and celebrate yourself. You always have to stop and make sure that you are owning, like, okay, I did that. I did that right. I did that, So before we unpack the gaps, and you always take that moment, we're going to hype you up first. You built the habits. Many people are still struggling to develop those habits. You're consistent. You prioritize saving and investing. You avoid reckless spending. That is major. And I want you to be very proud of that. Now, let's take that strong foundation and turn it into a system that's actually bringing you peace and not pressure. So the second step I want you to do is become aware of what's triggering your financial anxiety. Like, your finances are numbers, but they're not only numbers. They're very emotional, and it's a lot of trauma sometimes that's involved. So ask yourself, what part of money makes you feel anxious? What part of money do you avoid? And what causes that tight feeling in your chest, even when you have a healthy bank balance? See, for a lot of my clients, it's the lack of clarity that drives the stress. They have savings everywhere, but they have no visibility. So they contribute to retirement, but they don't know what that really means. So that's not peace, it's still confusion in disguise. The third thing I want you to do is identify the root of this scarcity mindset. So when you operate like this and you feel like you have to have this certain amount and you're nervous about a lot of things, a lot of times you're operating a scarcity mindset in the sense that you don't want to run out, you don't want to lose all of your money. So that's why you're so attached to holding on to your money and hoarding the money that you're less likely to take risks. Okay. So if you get nervous anytime your savings drops below a certain number, or if you feel like no amount of money is ever enough money, or if you have multiple accounts, but you still feel broke, even though you have all of these accounts and you have thousands of dollars in all these different accounts, that's fear. That's fear driving your anxiety. And a lot of that fear comes from past experiences. Maybe you grew up in a household where money was always tight, or you were always struggling to survive. Maybe you were the responsible one and you were the one who had to figure it out, or maybe a financial scare early in your career and it made you vow to never ever feel that vulnerable again. This is called money vigilance. And while it comes from a protective place, it also can block your financial growth and it can stunt it to where you end up not making it where you're supposed to be, even though you had the means and resources to do so. So the goal here is to reflect. You're not looking to point any blame. You're not looking to, make anybody responsible. You're essentially just reflecting. So you have to own the story so that you can write a new chapter. Now, the fourth step that I need you to make is to understand that your finances essentially is an ecosystem that you are building to work together. And this is where the mindset shift begins. Your savings, your 401k, your checking, your investments, life insurance, estate plan, all of these things are part of the same financial ecosystem. They are all tools that are afforded to you to build your own ecosystem, and they need to work together. They don't work in silos. They don't, it's not an independent program. This is not a self-help system. This is a system of collaborative effort. Okay. So scattering your savings across multiple accounts without a purpose, this can make you feel like you're doing something, but it also makes it very hard for you to track your progress, because it might look like you don't have a lot of money, but if you have $3,000 in 5 accounts, you have $15,000. But it doesn't look like you have $15,000 because they're in multiple accounts in multiple banks. So to you, it looks like, oh my God, I don't really have any money. And I only put, and like you find yourself saying, oh, I only put $100 a month away. That's something. Some people start with 20. When I first started putting money into investments, I did $25 a paycheck. Like, keep it real, and I'm very transparent about my process and my journey. I was doing $25 a paycheck when I first started, but that still was me starting. So being consistent is one of the biggest factors that will play in this role for you. It's not really a competition. It's more so building a collaborative effort where all of your finances work together. You can't calm your anxiety if your accounts are essentially a maze that you can't figure out. So building a clear system will bring you more peace. So this is where I want you to start. Label each account with a specific purpose, okay? I also want you to consolidate which account can track growth. So if you have 5, 6 savings accounts, you have to work to organize them. And we'll talk a little bit about that later, where I'll list specific steps that you can take to organize your finances for those of you who this might be your situation. So, number 5, you're investing, but do you even understand what exactly you own, how much it's growing, what it will amount to, what's the amount you need to save to or invest to? Like, what is the goal of your investments? I can't even tell you how many times I've sat down with a client who's a high earner and they contribute to their 401k, even maxing out their 401k, but they have no idea where their money is actually going. They don't know what it's invested in. And sometimes they didn't even go invest it. They just had the deduction come out of their paycheck, but they never went and actually directed what the money is invested in. So listen, I'm not saying that you have to become a stock market expert overnight. That's not what the intention of this is. It's the goal of you just being more knowledgeable about the different financial tools and vehicles available to you, which is going to beget more confidence in your finances. If you're building wealth, I don't want you to do it blindly. Even if you have a financial advisor, you still need to understand the basics. That knowledge is where the confidence is going to start to build. So I created a playlist. It's right here on YouTube, completely free, no paywall or anything to get to it. But it's a playlist called Investing for Beginners, from Clueless to Confident. And so it breaks down in plain language, no fluff, no terminology, no shame. I mean, drawings, analogies, all of the things just full of clarity. The link is always going to be available in the description. So I want you to use that resource and watch those videos. I believe it has 8 or 9 videos in there, but the goal of this playlist is to help you just get more comfortable. I even have a video that breaks down different investing terms, just so you can feel comfortable having a conversation and understand it. And so what I need for you, because I definitely took time making this playlist. If you watch this playlist and it helps you, or you find yourself somewhere outside and somebody uses a term and you're like, I know what they're talking about, and it's because of my playlist, I need you to drop it down in the comments and let me know. I need you to share with me, because I wanted to create a resource that really just made it easier for us to understand investing. I used to tell, like, oh, we'll go watch a content creator, but a lot of times they still couldn't understand because they were using jargon or investing terminology. And if you're a straight beginner, you still don't understand it. So like, I still don't understand. Like, I watched the video, I heard what they said, but I still don't understand. And I wanted to try to eliminate that problem. So please, if you could be so kind and you watch any of those videos and you enjoy them, please let me know if you did it. Okay, off my soapbox. Step 6. Step 6 is going to be create a budget. Yes, you. Yes, you still need a budget. Even though you make good money, you're already putting money in savings, you're already putting money in investments. That is fabulous. I'm so happy that you do that. I'm here to celebrate you, cheerlead for you, motivate you, pump you up, hype you up, everything for doing that, because that's commendable and that's you investing in yourself. That's you showing up for yourself. But I also need you to understand that budgeting isn't just for people who need to stop spending. Budget is a plan for your money. And people with a lot of money need a budget. People with a little money need a budget. Actually, people with a lot of money probably need more of a budget than people with little money. Because if you only have this amount available, you don't have the room to overspend because you don't have it. But when you have an excess, you have to be very intentional with what you do with that excess. You have to be very intentional to make sure that excess is used to create more money for you, to invest in yourself, and to help bridge the gap between where you are currently and where you are going to end up. Your desires fulfilled, the life that you actually want. So it's very important for you to be intentional with any surplus of money you have. If you plan to grow, if you don't plan to work all your life, if you want to travel more, if you want to ease the stress that you have or any anxiety you have built up around money, it's going to be very important for you to be intentional about any surplus you have in your finances. I'm not saying this to say that you can't go on a trip, you can't have fun. Don't mix my words. Don't mix my words. I am not saying that. A lot of times people are like, well, you said I can't do this, and if I budget, then I can't do that. Yes, you still can do that, sis. You still can do that. I'm just asking for you to let your budget know. I don't feel like that's much to ask. Sharing is caring, right? So that's what I said. For everybody who wants to be intentional with your money, you can't manage what you don't track. Okay. Even if your expenses are covered and you're not behind on any bills and you're investing well, if you don't know where your money goes each month, you're just guessing. You're just out here all willy nilly. I don't want your money to be all willy nilly. I don't want that for you. I want you to thrive financially. I want you to thrive in life, and you thriving in your finances is going to be an integral part of that. Okay? So let's put out the fires. Let's calm and ease ourselves, our mind, and get the pressure that we currently have off our chest by building a system that actually works based on your life. So it's time to pause and ask the question. And so remember when I told you we would talk later about exactly what it looks like to sit down and honestly figure out where of all these directions that our money is going and what it's doing, and get a really clear look at your finances. Okay, this is the part of that video. This is the part you want to listen to. These are some of the questions and things that you need to do. So the first thing is, do you even know what your money is doing right now? So you have it, you get paid, you have these different things. You might have multiple direct deposits, you might have automatic transfers or different things, but do you know where exactly? If somebody was to ask you to make a list, would you be able to make that list without having to check multiple accounts, go look in bank accounts, go into your employer portal to figure out, oh, I think I have, well, I'm not sure. I think I send 20, because the problem is what happens is you might be investing and saving a lot of money, but when you get down to it, you might realize that you're saving and investing more money than you bring in. So what this does is you're creating an unnecessary strain on your finances, which is now causing you to transfer money out of your savings regularly. It's causing you to have things going on your credit card, but they're not getting paid off, because when it comes to the end of the month, you don't have any money left. And it's not because you don't have the ability to have money left. So that's why you need a budget, so you can understand exactly how much needs to go to expenses and learn how much you can afford to save and invest, because that's huge. So the reason why I say is, do you know where your money is going now? It's because how can you form a real opinion about your financial situation when you don't have a full picture of the work your money is already doing? And so I see this a lot of times in my clients, because they, you're always your own worst critic. So they critique themselves and they feel like they're not doing much financially. But when we add up how much they're investing, how much they're saving from the different accounts, and they see it firsthand, it's like, oh, well, I didn't know I was doing that much. You don't know because it's being scattered around. That's why it's important to create a system. Okay. So when you're organizing your finances, one of the important things for you to do is give every account a job. I'm sorry. Which one is going to be your emergency fund? Which one are you going to use to pay your bills? Which account is going to be your short-term savings goal? Label each of these accounts, track them, what they're for. And you can typically, for a lot of banks, they allow you to go in and actually change the nickname of the account. So when you log in, you'll see that my house fund, fund money, bills, like make a name for that account so that you'll remember what it is while you're in this initial phase. Eventually you'll know it by heart, but right now you're creating the system. So you want to be able to remind yourself, because then you have to go and adjust any direct deposits or automatic transfers to match this system that you build up. Okay. So this is important for you, because once you do this, then you'll say, okay, so I'm using this account for this. Okay, so I need to redirect and make my savings go to these accounts. I need to have my majority of my money go here, because this is where my bills will be paid. And once you do that, it kind of gives your finances a little bit of order, if you will. So now that we've done that, let's talk about these savings. Make a list. How much are you saving each month? What accounts does the money go into? Why is it going into there? Is a reason for it? Is it something that's helping you work towards a goal? Or is it just going over there because you just feel good about yourself because you're saving money? I'm genuinely curious, These are the questions that you need to ask yourself. And so once you list it, you list how much you're sending to each account. From where? Is it coming directly from my bank account? Is it coming directly from my paycheck? You see what I'm going here? This way you can kind of look at it in front of you. And if you might have to take some time looking through the accounts and your bank portal and your job portal to figure out these numbers. But once you get them figured out, create a system. Okay, now I see I had savings going on here. Can I consolidate some of these accounts? Do I need all these savings accounts? If I have 5 savings accounts, okay, I got my short-term savings or my sinking fund, I got my emergency fund, maybe I have a big thing that I'm about to purchase, like a house or a car, so I got an account to save for those. What's the other 2 savings accounts for? If you can't figure out a goal for the other accounts, close them, take the money, consolidate it in your other ones. It'll help your balances grow, and then you'll be able to see that you're saving that much money, okay? Now when it gets to investments, I need you to do the exact same thing. What platforms are you using for your 401k? Do you have a brokerage account, a Roth IRA? And then what's your total monthly investment amount, okay? How much are you sending to each account? And again, where is it coming from? Is it an automatic withdrawal that's coming out of your account? Is it a direct deposit? Like, what is going on? Figure out exactly where the money is coming from and going and how much it is. Are you choosing your investments, or are you have it just set to an automatic default? This is another important question, because this question helps you identify if you are actively investing. So I don't think that you need to be a day trader, or, not saying that, but if you put the money into your workplace plan and you don't actually invest it, it's essentially growing, might even be slower than molasses. You get what I'm saying? And then if you're putting it into your own account, like your own brokerage account or your own, and you're not going in there and actually directing that money at any point, then that's just a glorified savings account without the interest. So that is why it is important for you to learn these things, because you're going to have to go and start actually managing them so they can make you some money. Okay? So like I said, even if you hire help, because don't ever be afraid or ashamed to hire help, you still need to have an overall understanding of what's going on. So ask questions, okay? And that's also why I created the playlist. So feel free to use it and it can help. My last step for you is, I just first want to state that confidence is not about perfection. If our goal is to reach clarity and confidence, it's not about perfection. It's always going to be about progress. And I also want to continuously acknowledge that you've done so much right, but it's just time to move away from this autopilot or this professional juggling to a system. Confidence is not about knowing everything. It's about understanding enough to make an empowered decision. So having a strategy that you can trust, a plan that aligns with the life that you're building. So your job is not just to save money. Your job is to make sure that the money is building towards the life that you want. So know this, you are not behind. You're just ready for the next level in your finances. You've mastered this level. You have built a wonderful financial foundation. Now we got to level up. That's the way that I want you to think about this. So start with awareness, okay? Once you become aware of what's going on and where you're at, then build your system, learn the basics. And please, if you are not able or it gets you too much anxiety, please don't do this alone. Look for help, find someone you trust, and work with them. So until next time, keep showing up for yourself and crushing your money goals.